Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hi everyone and welcome to episode 74 of Total Retail Talks. In today's episode, executive editor of Total Retail Joe Keenan sits down with Scott Cohn, vice president of e-commerce at Chinese Laundry. Listen in as they discuss how Chinese Laundry is growing its e-commerce business. And now, on to the show.
Hello, I am Joe Keenan of Total Retail. I'm here at the Innovation Lab at the NRF Big Show. I am joined by Scott Cohn, who is with Chinese Laundry. We're going to record here another episode of Total Retail Talks. So thanks for joining me, Scott.
Happy to, Joe. Thank you.
So my first question is just, can you tell our audience a little bit about Chinese Laundry? You know, talk a little bit about your product line, your customers, how you're selling your product.
Sure. Chinese Laundry is a fashion-forward women's footwear brand. We also have some accessories, handbags, legwear, etc. And we've been selling our brands through major retailers, Nordstrom, Macy's, DSW, and, of course, all the .com. So Zappos, Amazon, Shoes.com all carry our product. And we differentiate our product into 4 brands. Kristen Cavallari does a higher-end brand for us that is really geared towards women who fit her lifestyle. Chinese Laundry is our core brand, and that really sells across the board and covers all the categories of footwear. Dirty Laundry is a more junior brand and has really the fashion-forward, quicker fashion aimed at a younger customer. And then CL by Laundry is a more moderate brand and has a really broad appeal and can be found in a lot of places like DSW where the value-conscious customer shops.
You mentioned sort of the different sales channels there and selling through some of the retail partners that you mentioned, but also the Chinese Laundry website, e-commerce site. Can you tell us a little bit about how the growth of that business and how you're trying to continue to grow e-commerce?
Sure. So we've had our own website for several years, and really it started out more as a place to showcase our product. And in reality, at the very beginning, it was a place where people who couldn't find a size somewhere else would come to fill in a purchase. Maybe they were at a department store and didn't see the color or size they wanted. And we realized over time that we could really make it a platform to showcase our brand and to create that conversation with the customer that's so important so that she knows why to buy from us rather than other people and how we fit her lifestyle, show her other options that she may not even know that our brand offers. So over time, we continued to re-platform. We continued to grow the website in terms of how we laid it out, how we made it shoppable, how we analyzed the customers coming to it, and then, of course, all the social aspects as they've emerged over time and creating that conversation with the customer. We've also worked really tightly with some of our customers to create events and to create contests to help people understand who our brand is, who may shop at a store that we sell to but not really know as much about our brand. So that's been a really good way of raising brand awareness through our website. Yeah,
so that was going to be my follow-up is, you may have this customer that buys at a Nordstrom or a Macy's buys a Chinese Laundry product, but you want to kind of continue that relationship with that customer and make them aware and get them to the Chinese Laundry website. What are some of the tactics you're using? Is it social and email and some of the other ways that you're kind of marketing that e-commerce site?
Yeah, so we email, as it is for most people, continues to be one of the highest ROIs, but that's sort of within your own ecosystem because you're not finding as many new people that way. So paid search continues to be a very important channel. Prospecting, which is a much longer tail way of getting the customers, but using all of the intelligent data that you can get out there to find people who are in the marketplace for products that might be served by what we offer, and then presenting them with the option to shop on our website and understand the value proposition of the brand. So those are the things we're doing, and then there's just a lot with Instagram, trying to create conversations there, and Pinterest, shoppable pins, all of the emerging things there are things that we need to be aware of because our customer is hyper aware of social media. So understanding where she is and being being available to her so that she can participate in the conversation is where we're trying to be right now.
Yeah, and that customer that you mentioned, is primarily female, certain age group, so I guess that would kind of, they'd be right sort of in that target area
it's
for
going to
social.
be, right, 18 to 45 is probably the mindset of the customer, whether that's her technical age or not.
Okay.
And and really we carry all women's footwear.
Yeah. So as you continue to grow the e-commerce business, obviously with growth comes opportunities, but also challenges. So what are some of the the challenges that you face as you continue to sell more direct through the Chinese laundry website?
Yeah, so I mean that's been one of the big challenges over the last couple of years as we've really tried to explode the business is we can't do it all ourselves. It can't be all an in-house proposition. So we've brought in partners to help us with paid search. We've brought in partners to help us with organic search. And even taxation became a place where figuring out where we had nexus, figuring out what all the tax holidays were, because you certainly get a bump as you head back to college, back to school when they offer tax holidays. Well, certain things qualify, certain things may not qualify. So that's another place where we really found it made sense to get a third-party partner to do that, also bringing in different payment methods. So we're just about to launch Apple Pay and create easier ways for our customers to shop, and you have to have really good integrations with third parties to make all of that happen quickly and work seamlessly.
So maybe to give the audience a little context, can you talk about, whether it be from your team, the size of the team you're working with in-house, and then, kind of the decision-making process of, okay, is this something that we can do in-house, or is this something we need to outsource to a partner? Can you talk a little bit about going through that process?
Sure. So my team is very small. There's really about 3 or 4 of us who focus solely on our own internal retail. We also have a couple of physical retail stores. And so we oversee that piece of the business. And when we see something becoming a challenge or becoming an opportunity, we sit down as a team and we say, okay, what would it mean if we did it internally? Would we have to hire somebody? Would it mean somebody's not doing something? And what's the cost benefit of looking at an outside partner, and really weigh those, and then of course go through the whole vetting process of finding a few partners to see who might meet our needs, and then we just make that decision.
Yeah.
And we've tended to opt to stay on the leaner side internally, and then find really strong partners who can help us scale as we grow.
Yep. And then, so maybe you want to mention some of the solutions that you've put into place. You talked a little bit about the challenges around tax, especially. So, what are some of the partners you've started to work with, and some of the solutions you're using?
Well, we've worked with Bronto for quite a while on our email campaigns. Mm-hmm. We work with a company called Gen3 on dealing with the whole affiliate channel, because that's a great way to reach customers who have intent and are about to purchase, and even to reach new customers through their whole network of bloggers and other ways that they can reach out. We are working with a company called Terracon on paid search, and they've done a terrific job helping us really keep up with everything that goes on in Google and Bing in terms of how we get our products to stand out. And then we work with Avalara on all of the taxation.
And then I guess it differs for each partner, but what are some of the business benefits derived from some of these solutions and partners you're working with? And how are you monitoring, okay, that this is going in the direction we want it to? We feel like we're getting good value from what we're, the partner we're working with, and we have a good relationship with. Is that kind of I guess it's an ongoing
it's absolutely
monitoring process?
Right. It's ongoing. So we look at it a couple different ways. There's certainly resources like Total Retail that give benchmarks that help us understand where different avenues for marketing and reaching customers are going. There's independent analytics tools, whether it's Google Analytics, which is free, so everybody has an opportunity to use that, and you can understand how was the trend of this before we worked with the partner, how has the trend gone now, and then at various intervals we'll work with an independent team to come in and audit our marketing efforts. And we've partnered with Steel and Pepper, and they have really been able to come in and give a very candid grading of what we've done marketing-wise and their own assessment of how our partners are working with us. And they are much more neutral because they don't have a stake in which partner we work with.
Yep.
So we found using multiple ways to assess whether it's working or not to work best. And there's still tremendous challenges with attribution. So where in the funnel does that person or does that partner help you, and can you discreetly attribute something to them, or is it a combination of a bunch of different avenues of outreach?
Yeah. And then my final question, Scott, actually to be a kind of a two-part question is, being that we're just started the new year, what are some of the goals you're looking at, and some of the ways that you can look to grow the Chinese laundry business, particularly online this year, and then kind of looking at an industry perspective, across the retail space, what are some of the factors you think will be most important for retailers looking to grow online in 2017?
Well, I think that the answer can sort of be answered together because we're trying to keep up. We try to do the things that are relevant in the marketplace. For a couple years, personalization has been talked about, and it's getting attainable across a lot more levels of brand size and website size. And so that's one of our focuses, is how do we get that customer to quickly understand how our product can reach her? How do we get the conversation going in a tighter way with the customer? So our blog is going to be integrated into our website rather than being a standalone piece, and then just making it easier, whether it's shoppable pins or Apple Pay. It's how do you make it so that there's so much less friction in the path to purchase. Everybody's used to taking an Uber somewhere. You get in the car, you get out of the car. You're not having to think about all the aspects. So how do we make it so much easier for the customer to know what's going on? We've partnered with Narvar that really helps our customer understand where is my product. It's sort of like the pizza chains use, where you can see your pizza being made and then you can see it in the car driving to your house. This really gives the customer much more visibility into where her product is. So we're going to continue to build on those things. Some of the personalization is on the roadmap for this year. Getting the blog integrated is on the roadmap for this year.
And then maybe one more. How does mobile fit into that equation? It seemed like with your customer base, probably a highly mobile audience.
Yes.
Yeah. So how does that fit in?
Well, we are more than a year into more than half of our traffic being mobile. Yeah. And trying to get the conversion rate up there. So understanding how our customer interacts differently rather than treating it as a shrunken down version of the main website. So we're responsive today, but what we're finding is, looking at the analytics, the customers don't interact the same way as they do with the desktop. They're looking to see, almost back to the core of how our site started. They might be standing in a store and their size isn't there, so they can buy it from our website. So how do we make that search function more available? How do we get them quicker to understand what our inventory is without them having to scroll as much? So understanding that, taking advantage of the larger screen size because we have the analytics on what types of devices our customers are using. So building things more customized for that, and still being aware that most of our revenue is driven from the desktop.
Yeah. Great. Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank Scott Cohn of Chinese Laundry for his time, telling us a little bit about the business. Thanks,
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this episode of Total Retail Talks, please visit our podcast channel page for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on iTunes and Stitcher, but please remember to subscribe to our podcast channel page as well. Lastly, don't forget to connect with us on social, on Twitter @MyTotalRetail, and on Facebook at facebook.com/MyTotalRetail. Until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.